Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Scion Birth of the New Gods. I am Simon at Wondering DM. You see him pronouns, and I'll be the GM for our little game here. We have a ton of things happening in the world. I mean, within the game, but also a lot of stuff that happened last week. We're gonna pick back up from where we left off in a few minutes. But first, I would just like to thank our sponsors here at Wandering DM, beginning with Mage Press, makers of 5th edition D&D supplements. You can check them out. I know store.mageandpress.com, they are running a Kickstarter soon for a new thing. I don't know what it is exactly, but there's something in the work. Otherwise, you can also check out Dark Matter, which is an awesome fantasy sci-fi setting that I think many of us around the table here have played at least once. I don't remember, Lynn, if you've played Dark Matter?
I played it once.
Okay.
It was fun.
So, everyone but Hannah. And maybe Robert. I don't remember. But anyway, that's for them. Then next you should check out Found Familiar.
Yeah, I actually played it once at PAX Unplugged a couple of years ago.
At the Mage and Press booth?
At a demo thing that they were having to show stuff off. Lindy was the DM for the session that I was in. Liked it so
okay.
Liked it so much I bought the book.
Yeah, it's it was amazing. But the setting itself is just like brilliant and rich and funny. Just like me. That said, our other sponsor today is where's it going? Roll20, the platform that we use for all of our games here on Wandering DM. And I just realized that for some reason, even though I'm the admin of this channel, I'm not allowed to post links anymore. So roll20.net if you want to look at it. That said, let's go into our game. First, we'll go around the table and introduce all of our players for our game today. We are missing a morning today, but she'll be back probably next week. So without further ado, let's start the introduction with the person to my right on the overlay. Lynn, hi, welcome back. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good. Can't wait to see how this resolves. It's very strange. I'm Lynn, she, her, and I'm playing Dee Higa, daughter of Inari, she, her, and who found the car, but I don't know if she's gonna do battle with the little gnome inside. It's very strange.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
She can't fight.
No, but like you could argue with them. You could fight social. But that said, we'll move on to the second row of the overlay. We'll begin with Anino.
Oh, well, really?
Well, yeah.
Hi, folks, my name is Zanino. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Eddie Kahele, the Scion of the Monkey King.
And next, we have Robert.
I'm Kentucky Hawkeye, also known as Robert. I am playing Finbar Odubda. He is a scion of Ogma, and I am going incognito today because I am not able to access a camera today.
And that is fine. And then last but not least, we have Hannah.
Hey, I'm Hannah. I use she, her pronouns, and in this game I play Kieran Kearney, son of Loki, who uses he, him pronouns and who has never caused trouble any time in his life ever, especially not now.
Speaking of now, so last time, the group basically spent quite a lot of time at Peter Bloom's house, the owner of the junkyard in Huntington, who, has been haunted basically by this dog-like one-eyed dog spirit or something. And the group learned that Peter was linked in some way with a Scion called Killian, whose torque was the only object that was left behind after Killian died. And after speaking with Peter, actually, go back a few seconds, after Dee lost temporarily part of her memory to the dog, y'all started talking with Peter and realized or discovered that his memory is kind of hazy. Maybe because he's encountered the dog a couple times in the past, so he has trouble recollecting a lot of things. But after a couple of hours of prodding, the group found out that Killian met Peter probably when the former brought his car to the junkyard like, years ago. And the car's been there the whole time because Peter was sort of fascinated by it. An old Toyota Tercel that was, for all intents and purposes, in perfect working condition, and yet would never start. So the group, in the morning, took a ferry back from Dublin to England, drove all the way to Huntingdon, to this abandoned junkyard that was now being cleared out by a construction crew. Crew that was handled by Kieran. They stayed and witnessed Eddie more or less juggle with cars. Basically, as he went and decided to clean the whole place up himself to find the car. The Tercel was found, and inside the engine block lived a tiny Jenny Cuculati, which is more commonly referred to as a dick gnome in common parlance. But a little gnome by the name of Telephone, basically imagine like the ancestor of the Smurfs, like the inspiration for the Smurfs. And he still lives actually in that engine block. And he's a little bit temperamental, to say the least. Very much intent on insulting everyone however it can. And after he was referred to as being more or less phallic a few too many times, he decided to shrink everyone to his size. And that's where we're going to pick up today with the 5 of you shrunk to the size of this, what was it, like 8 inches tall creature. You are, of course, outside of the car, so you are on the ground, next to the car, but look pretty much, everything looks pretty much gigantic to you right now. What would you like to do from there?
Now, does everything that we were carrying on us also get shrunk? For example, my bat?
Yeah, everything.
Okay. Well, look what you've done now. You couldn't just hold back a little bit when dealing with a creature you've never met with before, could you?
He started it.
And it looks like he's kind of finished us off as well here, unless you have a plan for getting back up there and getting us back to our normal size.
I believe the plan is still to pummel the hell out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Eddie's just going to test his strength, see if he can budge or move the car despite his shrunken self.
So your strength is proportional to your size. As in, you are still freaking strong. You still have, divine strength in you. But due to your size, it's, while you couldn't lift an actual physical car anymore, you could probably lift the equivalent would be like a I don't know, a Tonka truck or something similar. Mechanically speaking, so long as you're affecting something that is roughly your shape and size, you have the same dice pool, you have the same abilities, you have the same everything.
What about those little things that kids drive around, and little ones where they're their feet one of those?
Probably, but that would more likely require a check. It wouldn't be an automatic success.
So about how much did we shrink proportionally? Are we 10% of our original size? Therefore, we could only do lift maybe 10% of our max strength. Is that kind of ratio?
The scale is
We're just going to say that, as you all recall, Smurfs are 3 apples tall.
Yeah, which is what I had in mind as 8 inches. Is that big enough? I think so. So it's not a 132 scale, it's a
Yeah, it's about 10% because if Eddie is 5'10", which is what I'm assuming, then 8 inches make it 0.11.
Yeah, so it's a 10%, yeah. Because it's the size of an action figure. A 7-inch action figure.
It goes back there, yeah.
Basically, we're old-fashioned G.I. Joe size.
Yeah.
I like this all. Okay, well, Eddie is just going to look around for something. I think he's going to try to see if he can find a brick, and he's going to chuck the brick in the whatever direction the gnome is at.
Finbar is going to look around for some tall dead grass or something like that he can weave into a rope that we can use to try to throw up and climb.
All right, so while Finbar goes one way to start plucking weed from the ground everywhere, Eddie, you find a brick. While this is happening, just want to check with Kieran and Dee. What are you going to do?
Dee's just gonna cross her arms and just, well, this should be interesting.
I mean, at this point, maybe we can talk to it. Maybe we could apologize.
I think you have to apologize.
I did nothing wrong. It's not my fault the thing looks like a dick.
I'm pretty sure the thing that you said made it mad.
I was clearly not the only one who was involved in making it mad.
Well, then everyone else is going to have to apologize to it as well. That's how these things work.
There's no magic word that we can do to undo his curse. Professor, is there a magic word we can do to undo this curse?
Yeah, it's the 2 magic words, or actually 3 if you count the contraction. I'm sorry.
Yeah, she'll. Dee's gonna make the pointing, yeah. See. You have to talk to them.
Fine. We'll do it your way, with a twist. And he starts carving "I'm sorry" into the brick that he's about to hug with his bare hand.
Yeah. You can carve into the brick with your hand, and within a minute or so, you have an "I'm sorry" carved into it. If you chug it Like, you're gonna have to lob it into the engine block?
Yeah, so he's going to arc it and lob it so that it lands on his little house.
You remember more or less where the house was, in the engine. So you know like the general area that you have to throw it into. I am, however, going to ask you to roll.
Just
to
make sure you aim for getting it up there and not landing on his house. We don't have to apologize for destroying his home as well.
Well, that's gonna be might plus athletics. As Finbar is, oh boy,
That's a lot of.
Finbar is arguing
one.
against this course of action. The brick flies up, lands in the car, and actually you can see the entire car itself. Like it sort of shakes under the weight of the brick. And you just hear a high pitch. Now what the fuck do you think you're doing? And you see the start of the brick like slowly being shoved out of the engine block. It's going to take a while. Telephone is not very strong. But you notice like on the like corner of the brick, the first corner that you can see poking out, there are bits of like plastic, colorful plastic.
Oh.
Remember his house was like sort of like this like Smurf mushroom model type of thing. He's slowly shoving it off the car. You have plenty enough time to move away from where the brick is going to land. And you can see his little face after he's done like pushing it entirely. He like clambers up on top of the radiator and just goes, not the radiator, but like the front like grill type of thing. I would advise you to be more polite next time. This isn't how you do written apology.
Look, an effort was made. We learned our lesson. Can you like turn Spock now?
The fuck you learned? You broke my house.
I didn't break your house.
You didn't stop him. Accessory to destruction.
Anyone else have any wise suggestions at this point?
All right, we've had our fun. You've had your fun. We're all sorry. Now we have to. Yes, I am. I'm sorry.
Do I look like a dick?
It's not your fault.
No, you look like a fine gentleman and a scholar. And trust me, I'm one myself, so I know.
You didn't say no.
I'm also
I
not
didn't
here to
have
lie.
the chance.
But we won't make fun, okay?
And
Hey, I have a foxtail. I can't speak it either, okay?
what does the foxtail have to do with this?
Unusual people. Like I said, we're not going to solve anything yelling at each other. You've shrunk us down, and your home is now sitting in a construction yard. So
My home was destroyed by an I'm sorry brick.
we can fix it.
I
I can fix it. I can help you fix it. It's okay.
fucking hope so. I'm not insured.
Well, he's just mad because you shrunk him down. So
Yeah, well, I was mad because he called me a dick.
he calls
Well,
a lot
perhaps
of
we
people
can-
dicks. So you know.
Yeah. Perhaps we can pay with a little sweat equity. If you bring us up to our normal size, we can gather what we need to reconstruct a new home for you, so you have something even better to live in.
And we can maybe bring your home to some place that isn't quite as noisy. I'm pretty sure it's been quite noisy with all the construction, all what all these people have been doing.
Let me mull it over. And he like crawls back into the hood, and the hood of the car closes. And then some time passes. And then some more time passes. And then you start hearing the bulldozers and the cranes pick back up the work where they paused earlier. You notice that the light in the sky has, changed a little. Shadows are a bit longer. You look at your phone. It's been like an hour and a half.
Rats are nocturnal, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't think that it's going to be great to be this size in this area.
Probably not.
How you think? You think it's bad that we're stuck in this Lilliputian hell? Why don't we? I think we should light a fire under this guy. Maybe speed up his decision a little.
Yeah, let's get them motivated, so that way it'll be even longer for him to change us back.
I mean, I don't think he's coming back at this point. I think he's just sent us, shrunk us and left us here. This is funny.
Well, Eddie just stretches and, well, you don't need to go through the hood to get to that part of the engine. So he's going to walk under the car and see if there's a way to parkour through the engine parts and up to where the gnomes.
It is. You can basically climb up the wheel, then run along the axle, then hook yourself up higher and basically snake your way up there. Do you have epic decks?
I do not know.
What's your athletics at? Yeah, no, you won't need to roll. It's something that would be maybe challenging to a regular person, or even maybe to a budding parkour athlete. Anyway, a person that does parkour, but not for you. You can easily climb up. Do anyone want to follow Eddie?
I think D does. I think it would be better if D helped talking. She's going to go up to before Eddie goes up. It's do you mind help me get up there as well? I think it would probably smooth things over if I can begin to work on the house.
Right on. Eddie is just going to carry D. He is epically strong, so figures it's just like carrying a backpack.
Yeah.
Oh,
not that.
yeah.
She's small. She's just.
As a that's true. I should get this page up.
I mean, it's just her and her bag, but they're not that heavy.
Oh no. And to be fair, you are all very strong by now. That's origin. That's hero. Well, I mean, Eddie is exceptionally strong. There is no index. That kills me. Okay. A sec. I need to get the scale table. action. This is crafting. I know it's somewhere. Ah, there we go. So, technically your scale right now would be at somewhere around -1. Eddie, how many points of epic strength do you have?
I think it's just
Oh, it's you only have epic strength. I'm sorry. It doesn't work with points anymore. So with epic strength, I think as a human, the default assumption is that yeah, +1 to your scale. So as a human, by the way, you are as strong as an elephant. You can push, pull, anything that like a construction crane could do. So that's, you know, that's how you're able to lift cars, and there's no problem with it. Now, as a regular sized person, lifting another human would not be a problem at all. Which means that even as a smaller person, you wouldn't have an issue. Actually, when I said your strength was proportional to your size, I forgot because of how the scales work. You technically, Eddie, are still as strong as a regular average human in that little tiny shape.
Nice.
So chugging a brick was not a problem. Lifting D is like someone picking up an action figure.
Awesome.
So the two of you will clamber up. Finbar, Kieran, I know that Morning is in the back fuming against the little shit. But what would the two of you do in the minutes before Eddie and D reach the hood of the car? Or do you want to do anything special? I know, Finbar, you were like tying the rope up.
Yeah,
Or
he's still
whipping a
trying to weave a rope to use that as a safety for helping to climb up.
It's going to be done. So by the time Eddie and D reach the top, you'll have something usable. Kieran? Nothing?
Can't talk
Alright,
my way out of this one. No, got nothing.
just making sure. So, Eddie and D, you finally end up, you know, crawling into the hood. Of course, when you go in, might I remind you, there is like a carpet of astroturf on the bottom of the hood. So when you crawl in, you're basically under the carpet. So to him, you're just like a lump that just popped up out of nowhere. If you have like any cutting implement, you can cut your way through.
She has
And
probably like heavy duty shears in her her bag.
so yeah, you like cut a hole in it, crawl in. You can see him lying on his back, like head resting against the log that he uses as a bench, near his little like fireplace. His hands are folded over his stomach, and he is snoring happily. In the background, his little mushroom house is now pretty much half of a mushroom. The rest has been broken into tiny little pieces.
Wow, that prick did a lot more damage than I thought it did.
Eddie just looks irked that this thing has just been sleeping instead of quote unquote mulling over options. Eddie's just going to look up at the hood and see if he can jump punch it to open it.
I mean, yeah, as a human, you would be able to open a hood. You kick off from the ground and basically use like all of your momentum to shove the hood open. The hood is latched. So I'm going to have to ask you a unless you have. Oh wait, you've got heavy lifter. Okay, you'd have to imbue a point of legend. Do you have a point of legend left?
Yes, I actually do.
Okay, so yeah, if you imbue a point of legend, you can open it without a roll.
Okay, we'll do that. Just hope that someone else has a legend to get us back home.
Well, because it's imbue, it means that it's just temporary, right? It's reserved for this ability. The moment you turn it off, you regain the point.
Oh, okay.
It's not a spend point. It's just if you had spent some, because I didn't remember with the dog and everything, then it would have been a problem. But otherwise, it's not. So yeah, you kick off, push the hood open using your momentum. The latch breaks, the hood pops open, and even, you know, through sheer luck, the little like arm dangles out and prevents it from closing down again. The noise is enough to raise Telephone from his sleep, and he goes, "What?
Yep. Hey,
What the? How? This isn't. No." And he he's still on the floor, right? Like crawling backward, like crab walking back.
we're not okay. We're not here to fight, okay?
He's got his arms folded. This is an intimidation pose.
They're not out. He's not like getting ready to punch you or anything. He just wanted to get the roof opened, and I'm here to. We're here to make things right. Okay? I see your house is still in a state where you can't. Is that why you're sleeping outside? Can't sleep in the house anymore like that, right?
No shit, you made me homeless.
And that's why we're here. We're here to fix your house, make amends, and you can make me and my friends back to normal size, because otherwise this car is going to end up back at the bottom of a pile again. Probably someplace else. Probably someplace worse. Who knows? Maybe it's someplace that even has a lot of water. How about it? I'm assuming you're not getting anything here from sleeping in a busted house, uncertain future.
You're bringing arguments that I didn't think you'd bring. I
have a
hate when
lot.
people make sense.
I have a lot of experience with argumentative with a lot of spirits and things like that, so you have to get
I
to the
don't
point.
care if you argue with a bottle of whiskey, lady. I'm not a spirit. Spirit, get it? Spirit. And I think at the same time, like we would see in the background as you are having this discussion, like the little rope with like a little like nail as a grappling hook, just like hook itself onto the hood. So if Finbar and Kieran, you want to climb up and join the conversation, from this point on, you can.
Yeah. Finbar definitely does the Batman up the side of the building from the TV series.
For some
Method
reason,
to
Mr.
climb up.
Rogers pops out of like the grid, like he sees on like horizontal, and he's like, "Hey, Finbar." Holy.
So what are we at in negotiations?
Ah! More people on my turf.
Literally, huh? What?
Yeah. And he still has his arms crossed. I don't like that. It's I feel intimidated.
All right. Would you feel better if it's a little more casual?
Yeah.
Eddie?
Just as to make a point, Eddie is going to crack his knuckles and his neck, and then fold his hands behind his back.
I don't know why you keep hurting yourself, sir. It's not a good idea. But, yeah, he looks a little less intimidating.
All right. So there we go. Better foot and getting further on the right path. I'm sorry for any jest about your appearance.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
she'll look at everyone else.
mhm.
Finbaughter comes up, sits down on the turf, reaches inside a pocket of his jacket, pulls out a small flask with he's got some, shall we say, some social lubricant in there. And I ask him, would you like it? Shall we talk about this over something to drink?
Are you making me an offering of peace?
Yes, I am.
Is that guy over there going to crush me when I bring you back to your real size? And he, like, nudges with his head to Eddie.
No.
Alright. You might feel a little discomfort. And as he says that, you know, the entire environment around you shrinks down as the five of you regain your size while being inside the hood of a car. Do you know how many people can fit in the hood of a car?
No.
The answer is not 5.
Yeah.
You're basically...
2, 3 if they're small.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically ejected from the hood. Probably, like, hitting and bruising yourselves on...
At
like,
least
top of the hood, just the front of the car, the ground itself.
At least the latch was open. At least the hood was open.
Yeah. And the moment Morning, regains her size, she goes immediately for her sword.
Nope. Morning. Everything's good.
Finbaughter grabs her arm and slowly sheaths the sword back in.
All right. Thank you. The rest of you make nice, and I'm gonna go find some replacement parts for this house. I'll be right back.
No, I don't want my house repaired.
Sure.
I want a new one.
Okay.
I want a bigger one.
Fair.
Also, oh, that's a problem. I can't leave here.
Car or the junkyard?
I'm fairly certain you said words. But you
Yeah.
have like a thick Viking accent, and I didn't catch all of it.
It's not a Viking accent, for God's sake. I said to you.
Kieran,
Don't
Kieran,
pillage my
Kieran,
house,
Kieran,
please!
Kieran.
The car or the junkyard?
Oh. I think the answer is both.
Is this land sacred to you or just to your people?
No, fuck no, this is a junkyard. And there's trash everywhere. It's not sacred in the least, it's just I've been told I have to stay here.
By whom, if I may ask?
I'm not allowed to say. I didn't say anything, didn't hear shit.
Understood. I won't ask anymore.
Yes.
All right. So if the car can you move with the car if the car were to move?
I don't
Let's
think
say
the car doesn't move. It's missing like an engine. Like Like the thing that's supposed to be here? I've been told that it's a requirement.
But what if we were to move the car with by our own means?
Yeah, I'd have to fight you. Watson, that's, yep. And
Okay.
you don't want to fight
So
me.
the car has to stay here then, is what we're trying to ascertain from you.
I believe so.
Okay.
Look, I'm not allowed to say that I've been told to stay here, but let's just say that I have to stay here. Because I've been told.
Can you say why you have to stay here, or is that also secret?
Telephone starts to like look around. Look at his feet. And like you can see his mouth, like his lips move, like he's mumbling, but there's no sound coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a few moments, and then he says, You know what? I don't know. It's just... I've been told I have to keep the key here. I have to not move. Oh, shit.
The key?
What?
Oh, we knew about the key. So, what's it for?
Well, if you knew about it, you know what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's here.
No.
Okay.
There's nothing here. There used to be my house, but someone broke it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there used to be a patch of grass over there, and someone cut through it. So,
That?
you know, how's your day going?
Honestly, not great. That was
I
before
bet.
today. That was before all this.
Want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Because
One
I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Nope.
Yeah.
No.
Is there anything particularly you want the new house made out of, or do you want something similar to what you had before?
Oh, I would comfort. Shit, that was like a plastic toy that was bought like at the Target or something. By the way, the GM doesn't know what type of like chain stores there were in England in the 80s, so let's go with Target.
Oh god. I'm just getting.
So
I'm
would-
getting in my head the image of something that you have guinea pigs in, or like a large one, just shaped like a house, just like one of those things.
Eddie's just going to start sifting through the wreckage of the mushroom house, see if there's anything in there.
There is, so like aside from like the bits of plastic that were like the outer wall, right? You find that he has, he's decorated the interior. Do you know, you remember like that painting of like a farmer couple? Like it's an old man and an old woman. I don't remember
American
what their name
Gothic
is.
With the
by
picture.
Grant Wood?
Yeah, that's it. Imagine it's this painting, but like the face has been replaced with like a poorly drawn face of Telephone. Then there's like the Scream with Telephone's face instead. There's the Mona Lisa with Telephone. It's all like tiny, you know, like printouts of these like famous paintings that he had basically like displayed on the walls. He had a tiny like plastic TV set, like a Barbie TV set, a little bed, and amidst the wreckage you also find oh yeah, because you're human size, so it's like it's tiny, but there's a key, like a door key, like a regular, you know, little steel key. It doesn't look ancient, looks pretty much modern. It doesn't have the like old brass quality that the one that Kieran has. This one just looks like a regular run-of-the-mill key that you would get from like any padlock.
He is just going to pick up that key and examine it a little bit closer.
On it, you would see there's a number that's been etched into the part that you hold normally. 79. 79. It's been etched over, like someone scratched it in. Because the logo of like the lock company or whatever is still like behind it, embossed behind it. So after, coming into possession of the key, someone did scratch things on it. It's only on the one side. The other side has, again, just the logo. It's a it's Brady is the name that you have on it. Brady. It's a lock manufacturer, like nothing incredible, nothing that you've ever suspected having something to do with like the divine or anything. And even the key, like it doesn't smell divine. It doesn't have like the strange smell. It doesn't even though Finbar is not actively looking at it, like he would feel it if there was magic around, and there's nothing.
Huh. And there was nothing in the car that looked like a box or had a lock or anything like that?
The only thing that you could see could have a lock would be the glove compartment.
All right. Eddie's going to show the key to Kieran, and then he's going to go into the see if he can open the glove compartment with it.
So you go into the car, put the key in. The key does fit in the lock, but it doesn't turn. The
Okay.
the teeth like don't line up with, so it's not the right one. The glove compartment, however, is unlocked. Like if you try to open it afterward, it does open.
Okay. Well, he'll look inside and see if there's anything of importance there.
There's an old paper map of London. There's the car, like, operating manual, the new user or whatever. It's still in, like, the sealed plastic sort of envelope that it comes in. There is a pair of light brown leather driving gloves. I know there's a name for it, but like the newsboy cap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like plaid pattern, gray and black. And what else is there? There's a little tin, like round tin box of chewing tobacco.
Are there any markings on the map?
As a matter of fact, there are. When you like unfold the map, there is one block in London that's been circled. Let me give you the place. And there's a note, let's say, like something written next to it. And it says, like, you live here. And it's a little place, in like North Borough of London. A sort of a cul-de-sac, if you will. The street itself is called Pale Grove. Prail Grove. Sorry.
Well, this looks important.
And then there are other places that are marked. One of them is a little further north in a place called Brent Cross. And it says, get food from here. And then between the two, there's like an asterisk. And if you like play around with the map a bit, you'll find another asterisk somewhere else, like written like in a margin. That says strange person. And then other places. You have one in like the town of Stratford. You have one later on if you go south, like almost at the edge of the map in like Sutton. Another circle. These ones though do not have like names or notes or anything. But Sutton, Greenwich, and Stratford are the three other places.
Well, I think we've got some clues. It's just going to show
How
them
far-
that too.
Yeah. How far are these places from where we currently are?
Let me check.
We've got a portal, right?
You could, yes, portal. If you on foot, it's 20 hours. It's 60 miles out. Like it's
Okay.
it's an hour,
Okay.
almost an hour's.
They're all spread out then. Okay, that's what I wanted to figure out.
Okay.
Well, you are, because right now you're in Huntingdon, so you're you're an hour away from London. These places, you're actually an hour and a half away from London. Sorry. But these places, like it's almost a straight line if you were to drive there, following one of the like highways. You could get into, at least you could. I think it's the place with the food. He said where you get the food from. Would probably be the closest one to your location right now.
So if that's the closest one to our location, what's just looking from, straight up metric system, Eddie is going to try to see if he can use his purview journeys. And this one's, you have an unfailing sense of direction, allowing you to find a route that leads to any point in the world as an unrolled action, unless it's obscured by magic. And you can sense the presence of an Axis Mundi or other gate between realms of existence from legend miles away. And I think my legend's like, what, 1? So that mean
2.
Or is it 2?
2.
So
The
within
legend.
2 miles away.
So within 2 miles, I can tell you there's no like door to an Axis Mundi.
Okay.
An Axis Mundi would be basically like the place, the physical place where you can reach the cabin where you had to drive the first time. That's an Axis Mundi.
Okay.
So it's basically like portals to another world. In this case, like 2 miles around the junkyard, there's nothing. With your sense of direction, you can, like exactly which way to take. I'm here checking on the map. It's a road called A1, and it's almost a straight line from Huntingdon. you would save like 15 minutes. You would avoid a lot of detours and a lot of like London traffic. Because you'd be getting in from like the north side of London instead of like the east side and then having to drive all the way back. What else did your power give you again? So unerring sense of direction. Yeah, its position is not obscured by anything. And yeah, there are no other gates around.
Okay, well, I guess I can get us there with... Is this the place you think we should investigate first? Because this home place seems important.
They say home is where the heart is. That'd be the... I guess we strike for the heart.
No, not my heart. No,
No, not
please.
your heart. Not your heart. We're talking about on the map here.
What? No.
Don't worry. We're not going to touch you when it comes to that at all.
Good. Hey, where did you get that, by the way?
Sorry, something's preventing us from saying. We can't tell you that.
As Kieran says that, Eddie is going to hand Kieran the map for safekeeping, as well as hiding the key in the map.
Oh shit! You were struck with that thing too? This sucks, doesn't it?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
You know you can get around it though.
How's that?
Well, I mean, you can't really say what it is or where you got it, but you can say where you didn't get it. Like, the whole spell doesn't seem to work against negatives.
Right.
I know, right? This stupid Gaulish magic.
So if you couldn't stay here, where could you stay?
If I couldn't stay here,
Yes.
I could go pretty much anywhere. Like, I have to stay here.
Because the car is missing an engine.
Well, there's that, Sherlock. But also, I'm not allowed to say why, but I have to stay here.
You have to stay here, but it's not because you have to protect some sort of key, is it?
Oh no, I do not have to protect that key.
Oh, okay. Because, you couldn't not do your job if the key went missing.
I could not do my job if the key... Yeah, I think you're right.
Because if the key went missing, there'd be nothing for you to stick around and be watchful over, so therefore you wouldn't be bound.
I would be another failure if the key was moved away from here. Like disappointment on like a cosmic scale type of thing. Like, I'd be the worst. People would probably laugh at me at the next Kukulati Christmas party.
Oh.
But they couldn't laugh at you if you weren't there.
Yeah, definitely.
And technically, you wouldn't be a failure if you were to say that you weren't looking for that key when it didn't go missing.
Oh yeah, if it never goes missing, I'm not a failure. That's why I keep it here, because I know where it is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck with that.
Thanks.
But maybe we couldn't find a better place for you to live.
Shame. I mean, wait. Are you saying you're not allowed to say you can find me a place to live? Or are you just saying that, like, you literally cannot find me a place to live? Because I'm getting lost in all these negatives.
Also getting lost in all these negatives.
Fucking magic.
All right, barring any promises to guard said key, if we were able to find you a place, we would.
No.
We can.
That's awesome. Oh, you can't?
Can.
Oh, great. Yeah.
We do owe you for breaking your previous one, so.
We wouldn't have broken his house if he hadn't shrunk us down.
Hey, Stage Whisper's not gonna save you here.
And if you hadn't been talking the way you had, you wouldn't have shrunk us in the first place. So let's just drop it like a hot rock.
A hot rock.
So there's time for diplomacy and there's time for big sticks.
Wait a second. Rocks? Sticks? Is this a dick joke?
No.
No,
Absolutely
not at all.
not. Absolutely not.
Sticks and stones are what we need to help build your new house. We're just getting the beginning pieces for you.
Oh,
Or we could just get a Lego set. Get a big Lego set. What's a big deal?
what's a Lego set?
Or maybe find an old abandoned Barnaby townhouse or something.
That's probably.
Those antique dollhouses get expensive. What are we made of money? Oh, right.
Wait, you're made of... Really?
You're absolutely not made of money.
Like if I cut you, do you bleed money?
Oh, no.
It's like a little incision. Just like, would probably help, pay for the house. You broke!
Diplomacy.
It's a figure of speech.
He's just going to peel off a couple of bills, money clip, and just throw it down and like, okay, I think we're done here.
What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Build a paper house? What is this?
It's money.
I don't think you can go into a store and
Last I checked, money was made of metal and had the face of an angry old dude on it.
I'd reach in my pocket and pull out a quarter
Oh,
and
hey,
hand it to him.
yeah, that's all right. Now we're talking about money.
Carries loose change nowadays. Anyway, I think we're done here.
Yeah, okay. I'd say thanks for coming, but I fail to see the point of our entire conversation for the last, hour and a half.
Right. Well, we'll send for you when we've got a new house for you. In the meantime, you might want to pack up your belongings and get ready to leave. Or not leave. Whatever.
Can't leave. Have to stay. Can't tell you why. It's
I'm
important.
just gonna undo the latch and shut the car engine.
You just hear him go like from inside.
That was fun. Shall we go?
Might I suggest we get away from this little fellow quickly?
good. Now you know what I have to deal with most of the time. We have to bring him a house. We still have to do that. We can't just
Finbar starts searching on his phone on either eBay or something like that to find an old used dollhouse that someone's trying to sell.
Whatever. We'll make one when we get back home. I think there's a dollhouse out there on the porch somewhere.
And all of a sudden there is.
I mean, really. But what did we come in here anyways? We came in here in a car, right? Or did we appear here just out of nowhere?
No, you actually came in, rented a car, because remember, Vidya and Maeve couldn't drive you,
Oh, right.
because you sort of ditched them in the middle of nowhere.
I mean, we should come back at some point. I mean, tiny creature living in the hood, notwithstanding, it's a
The key
divine
is
car.
gone. I mean,
Yeah.
the key is gone, so it's not going to have to stay here. Great way of distracting them, though.
You can't let that thing know that what you did.
You didn't do anything.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't check.
Why would he? He's got no reason to believe that, we did anything. Anything's gone missing.
Well, the sooner that we get out to here, the sooner we're not around when if he discovers it, and he can't come back after us as easily.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we'll just pile into the car. And we're going to imbue it with Chariot of the Gods
Ooh.
before we make it to our next destination. So I think we're going to head to the house, right? Where it says this is your home on the map.
Yeah, we can.
On Prail Grove, in Prail Grove. So when you imbue it, Chariot of the Gods is the thing that makes it faster, right?
That's right. Any speed-based actions I take with the car are increased by 1.
Yeah, you're basically driving a Formula One. And you look, instead of an hour and a half or like an hour and 15 minutes, you're pretty much getting to this place in like 20. You're fairly certain you breezed past a couple of like cop cars, but they most likely couldn't even like scan your car like quickly enough to know the speed at which you were going. You eventually have to slow down a bit as you enter Prail Grove. So Prail Grove, what it is a so like I said, a sort of cul-de-sac. It's all like English townhouses, I guess would be the name for them. The place is modern-ish. London being a very, very old city. Like when we say modern, is probably like built in the like post World War II type of thing. So it's these like brick buildings. Some of them, the facing has been redone, but for the most part, every building around you has this like orange brick tinge to it. It's cramped. The street is incredibly narrow. And every house or so, like every other house, is fenced in by these like tall hedges. looking at the map, like the place he that was circled, it's like it's one of two houses because they're all like stuck together, townhouse. So it's either number 77 or number 79. Or I should say 177 or 179.
As he's before he gets out of the car, Eddie is just going to turn to Kieran and say, "You don't have to deal with traffic when you've got family." And then he's going to pop out.
Wow, we're gonna go to break on that. I need to pour bleach in my ears. But yeah, we're just gonna go to break. When we come back, let's see what's inside this house. Stick around, everyone. Hello! We're back. And now, we're approaching this house in the corner of a cul-de-sac. It's... let's go with this. It's quiet. Like I said, streets are narrow. Place is kind of old. And you see this house in the back. It really is like in the farthest corner of the cul-de-sac. Little townhouse. Has like a number like 79. It's almost like written in Sharpie on a white sheet of paper. Stuck to the window. The entry, like next to the entry door. The grass has been... not gonna say growing wild, but you can see like there's a difference in height between like their yard, number 79's yard, and the neighbors. Not enough to say that, you know, it's been years or whatever. Like, it's not overgrown or anything, but it's been neglected. Definitely neglected. The house itself is dark with, actually every window is covered by blackout curtains from the inside. There are no lights, even though you're like middle of the, well, closer to evening by the time you get here, but like the sun is still in the sky, hasn't set yet. But there's still no, like some houses you would see like lights from within, not in this case.
All right, this low expectations. We've had Cyclops dog and terrible little gnome thing. I'm not having great expectations for this, honestly.
I do so enjoy the cheerful optimism you bring to our dynamic.
It has been a nightmare coming here.
Yeah, can't say I'm a big fan of England.
No?
No.
This is the place, right? Because that 79 looks like it's just been taped up with paper.
I mean, the only way to know is to try, right? Try to key in the door.
Yeah, I mean, it has that look of, certainly has that look of being not lived in for a little while.
Yeah, well, I mean, we are chasing after a guy that we suspect may or may not be a demon dog, so. Is there... Eddie's going to approach the door, but he's just going to look around and see if there's anybody watching them.
There's a few people inside their house. Peeking through the curtains a bit. But it's more like nosy neighbors. Like no one's keeping an eye on you, like the you know, suspicious looking individual staring at you or anything.
Yeah, we're not wanted. We're not wanted in this country yet.
No, for the most part, it's just, you know, it's a car that they've never seen before in a cul-de-sac. So normally, because it's not somewhere that's, you know, that sees a lot of traffic, anyone that they've never seen before, you're gonna have like your, you know, older, let's say, of an older generation neighbors just looking, probably gossiping, depending on what car you're driving. And then of course they're gonna be nosy because like the five of you walk out of the car and one of you has a sword strapped to her back.
Great. Good.
And the others look like a very eclectic group of people. D is carrying the giant suitcase. D, are you wearing something over the bright yellow shirt?
Yeah, he's wearing a sports jacket over it.
Okay, so you, Kieran, and Finbar are probably the least conspicuous. But also this neighborhood is white as fuck.
All right, well, we'll just
All right.
try the door and get in and out of here as quick as we can.
By the way, the key does fit in the keyhole, and it does
good.
unlock the door. It's a deadbolt right above the knob itself. And inside is a spectacle.
Oh, good.
Do I have? I don't have proper
Excellent.
for that. So we'll just play in silence for a moment. Inside is a very messy townhouse. Dishes were left piled
Oh
up
no.
in the sink, on the counter.
Ugh.
There are flies everywhere. But still, there are less flies, and there are post-it notes on the wall. It's as if someone redecorated the whole wallpapers with post-it notes. All of them with various messages, most of them crossed out. They seem rather innocent as far as the messages go. No threats, no ominous, I don't know, sayings or poems or what have you. It's basically like one of them is literally half of a grocery shopping list.
Good.
Another one says heater broke. It's been crossed out. The other one is doctor appointment 2 p.m. Monday. It's also been crossed out. Then there's like an entire section when you walk closer to the living room that has just names. Margaret Weissman, crossed out. Marjorie, crossed out. Mr. Thompson, crossed out. Mr. Thompson, question mark? Crossed out. Mr. Thompson, exclamation point, crossed out. There's a handful of them on the coffee table. They're all about cars. But just colors, no model or make, just the blue car, the white van, the brown pickup truck, kid on a scooter. And some of them, and it, at first glance, there doesn't seem to be a common link between those that are crossed out and those that aren't. It's almost as if the person that wrote them, and again, you can't really put your finger on it, but it's almost like if they just wrote down everything they saw through their window. Aside from like the grocery list, the reminder of appointments, the names, the house itself, to give you an idea of like how it's laid out, right? When you come in, there we go. So when you come in, there's a like the living room, right? Square living room. The dining room and the kitchen are like, it's all like one big open area.
Mhm.
The kitchen is at the far end, so that's why you could see, the sink with the mountain of dishes and the flies and everything at the far end, at the back. So there's the living room, then a narrower section where there's a dining table. Next to the dining table on your right would be are the stairs, I should say, to go up, and there's a cupboard underneath those stairs, which, as we all know, is an English tradition to have a cupboard under the stairs where you can shove young mages. And then if you go upstairs, I'll let you know what's upstairs. And right past those stairs is a door, like a door that is ajar. There is a room there, but you don't quite see it from where you stand at the moment.
Well, I guess it's time to start searching the place.
Yeah, this is a lot. Very descriptive. Blue truck. She'll put one and just show it.
I see a pattern here, Mr. Thompson. This guy sounds important.
Are you sure? Because this one, there's just as many that have grocery lists on them.
Quick question, because you're mentioning, the post-its I described. Do you pick them up, or do you just point to them?
We're just going to point to them for now.
Point.
Yeah.
Could have at least left us with blue string. I mean, not red string on these things. Let's see if there's anything else in the rest of this house.
Conspiracy boards aren't what they used to be. And no. Gone are the days of cork boards.
Oh, look at this post. It says Pepe Sylvia. That's weird. No, it looks like the man was, the shopping list is self-explanatory, but could all these things be trying to remind himself of other things? Like, I don't know why you'd need a reminder of somebody's, like, a car. Like, it's not his car. None of these describe his car.
No, but if we remember correctly, that artifact was taking his memories away. Or rather, something was taking his memories.
The great dog was. That's what D said.
There's no. I don't see one yet that has anything about dogs of any sort. But I mean, there is more than this room. So other than she'll look in the kitchen like that over there. Ugh.
So when you're in the kitchen, that other little room is a it's the loo. It's the bathroom.
Good.
But it's a I should say it's not a bathroom. It's a toilet.
Yeah, it's the toilet. Yeah.
Yeah. No
Half
baths
bathroom.
or showers in this one. Yeah.
Eddie's just going to open that cupboard underneath the stairs.
There lies the remain of a young boy who never received his letter to Hogwarts. No, it's boxes, moving boxes, a lot of them. Still, they're closed, though you notice that the tape has been ripped from them, so they've been opened at one point. And in Sharpie on them, you've got like a few things that are written. One box just says old VHS. The other one says China. Another one has like Nat Geo 97 2000.
Oh boy, this guy's been Okay, so Eddie is just going to sigh, and he's sort of going to reach out with the senses and see if he can sense anything that seems divine, because there is just way too much stuff around this area.
And there is way too many smell. When you begin to reach out, the first thing that you smell is an oppressive smell of ozone.
Oh,
Like, so much so that it's the only thing that you can smell for a while, even after you dull your like divine senses, right? Through the ozone, though, you do smell sorry, I was gonna say freshly cut grass, but that is not the case. I really hope it's not horse manure, but it might just be horse manure. Let me check. Um, mm, 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 mm. Oh, great. Are they like not in there? Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so I'm gonna have to come up with one. So let me check. You hear the sound of someone walking on dead leaves, like the crunching of leaves, and the smell of roasted hazelnuts. And the neighing of horses in the back. But also ozone everywhere. So there's, and you know, you've used your senses enough to know that these are two separate things. The ozone is one thing, and like all of the other things that I've described is something else.
Fantastic.
good.
So that was Eddie in the cupboard. What else?
Yeah, Eddie's just going to busy himself searching through these boxes and sort of just leave everyone else to pick a spot to work on.
All right.
Karen's going to go upstairs.
Very briefly, the upstairs is very cramped compared to downstairs. So while the downstairs area is basically like one big room, the upstairs is a bunch of smaller rooms. So when you climb up the stairs, and you basically like get up to the landing and you have to turn like the face left, and then from that point to your left, so there's a corridor going like left to right. To the far end, you see a door that is slightly ajar. Seems to be a bedroom. To your right, there is a utility closet that you can see it's like an accordion door. It's open and you can clearly see like washer dryer amidst a pile of dirty clothes, and another bedroom at the end. You see that this other bedroom has a door, probably a walk-in closet in it. But that's basically it. So, like, a bedroom on each side, a utility closet, and at least one more door that you can't really pinpoint what's in there.
can I get to this door that I can't really pinpoint what's in there?
Yeah, you just have to like step over a lot of trash.
Okay.
But yeah, when you go in, it's a guest bedroom that's been, so you have a single bed.
Mhm.
The rest of the room seems to have been repurposed as an office, maybe. Clearly the office of someone who has traveled. Because you have like a map of the world with thumbtacks put like in different areas. There's a rather elaborate globe, like an antique globe, resting in like in a corner of the room, and it's fairly wide. There's a desk, a very ornate desk with like little drawers and everything, a writing desk, upon which is a laptop old enough to say that you can calculate the thickness in inches,
Mhm.
which you can't really anymore. Also, it's like off beige in color. Yeah, it's some old crap. The door is not one of a walk-in closet, but of a bathroom.
Mhm.
And this room actually doesn't have a closet at all. It's well, there's no clothes like hung anywhere, but like if someone was to live in this room, like they'd have
Mhm.
to have like a trunk or something to put their stuff in. Similarly to the rest of the house, the room is covered. Even the ceiling has a few post-its.
Oh, what do
Yep.
the ones on the ceiling say?
Mm. One of them says, "No more room. Might discard?" Question mark. Another one says, "Get stucco."
Oh, okay.
Uh, and a third one has like again sort of like a grocery list with items um, barred off. Uh, it says house, grass, warmth, and each of them have been like barred.
Can I look in the drawers of the writing desk?
Yep. Various inks, quills. This person was definitely, whoever they were a calligraphy enthusiast. You've got like there are pens in there. When you open the drawer, it's like just a pen case that you need to then open. The pens alone are probably worth a small fortune. Um, this was a hobbyist, but like not just a run of the mill hobbyist. Hello, Prue. Um, that person was serious in their collecting of stuff. And then some of the bigger drawers on the desk have they hold paper, fancy paper.
Nothing is written on this fancy paper.
No, the fancy paper itself is brand new. Some of which is still sealed in like whatever format they were bought in, like either a box or just like a pile of loose leaves. Um, and on many of these packages, the writing on it is not in English, and in some cases, not in Roman alphabet. Like some of them are clearly Arabic, some are Cyrillic, and you even have one which isn't written entirely in kanjis on it. Again, it matches sort of like the countries where the thumbtacks were placed on the world map. Like this person has visited the Middle East, Northern Africa. They went to Madagascar, Indonesia, China, Tibet. They must have done like from basically from the Philippines and then went up. Like shit, I have to remember. There's Vietnam, I think Guam, Nepal is later on, but they basically went all the way to Mount Everest that way.
Dang.
Hmm.
I'd like to take out my phone, take pictures of all of these pieces of paper, and then take a picture of the map
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to touch this. I don't trust anything in here.
Mhm.
But is there anything unusual about the globe, or is it just a globe?
It's a globe. I don't know if you want to touch it.
Sure, let's touch it.
It's a big wooden globe, antique, and you can feel when you like brush your fingers on it that the continent have been like embossed on it. Like this globe has been carved into the current shape that it has. So there's like almost a 3D relief on where the like the mountain ranges would be. It's not an accurate topographical map. Like you're not gonna like it's not to scale. Like if you look at the mountain ranges and everything, but you can see sort of where like the Appalachian mountain range is, where the Rockies are, where like Mount Vesuvius is. It shows on the map, on the globe. But otherwise you can rotate it, on one axis alone. If you knock on it, it feels hollow inside. It sounds hollow. There doesn't seem to be a way to open the globe. Like no strange like lines somewhere where an opening would be.
Can I shake it?
What's your strength? Is it
Not
more than
good.
one? Is it more than one?
Am I looking at might or
Might. Yeah, sorry, might.
I have a 1 in might.
You could, but I'm gonna have to ask you to roll.
Oh boy.
'Cause
Okay.
It's
My-
taxing for you.
1 might.
Yeah, it's going to be might in athletics.
I have nothing in athletics, so that's going to be fun.
Good.
Might. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I'm not gonna give you momentum for this either because it's not super like important in the game. But it's just to figure out if you could. It's so the globe is hooked onto this whole like this big frame, right, that holds it.
Mhm.
The thing is all massive wood. It's heavy. You try to lift it and you can barely get it like not even an inch off the ground.
Damn.
So,
Okay.
let alone shake it.
Well, I'm going to pocket the pins, and then I'm going to take a picture of the globe and send it to Eddie via text. I'm like, I think this is something.
We're gonna
Can't lift it.
rewind a bit, see what D is up to, and then go back to Eddie.
She's gonna go just check around that kitchen, just to make sure there's nothing in that like half bathroom.
The half bathroom is disgusting. There's not that there's like poop or anything. It's just there's like grime on the wall. And you notice that someone has rubbed off some of the grime.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a like when someone like would draw things on the dirty windshield of a car. Kind of the same thing. It's 7 concentric circles.
She'll take a picture of it and add it to the group thing and just say, interesting, but really effing gross.
Oh yeah. In the sink, like the sink was turned into a fly graveyard. There's just a whole bunch of like dead flies in there. Yeah. And the kitchen is just as bad. You notice, however, that like the cabinets,
Mhm.
counters, sink itself, of course, nothing in, aside from a few of the walls, the kitchen is the area that has the least amount of post-it notes.
Okay.
You could surmise that it's probably because it was the room on the first floor that saw the most use.
All right. Moment of truth. She's gonna open up the fridge. Oh,
You
bracing
talk
herself.
to the fridge or you open the fridge?
Oh, she's opening. She doesn't want to talk to any of these things that are here. Like, she shut the bathroom just to make sure none of those things talk to her. Like, she doesn't want to talk to anything in that.
So the fridge is an old-timey fridge. You know, the fridges where the like bar to open it like has to click in and out.
Ooh.
It's a heavy duty like 1950-ish type of thing. When you open it, what would be the freezer is just like a little box inside. The fridge has like one shelf, so like two. Either you put stuff at the bottom of the fridge or you put it on the shelf and that's it. There's a 6-pack of beer. All of it is a type of beer called Stella Artois. It's a Belgian beer, not necessarily. I think it might be rarer in the States.
Perfect.
You've probably, I don't know, did you out of game like probably heard of it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
Belgian
not,
for Budweiser.
basically. Like it's not super fancy. Like, especially not if you're like close to Belgium. But there's a 6-pack, none of them are open. There's a half-drunk glass bottle of root beer, the top of which is held close by just like plastic wrap and an elastic. It's turned to syrup mostly. By the way, when you open the fridge is warm.
Ooh.
Like it.
Oh, is there anything that like has like a Best Buy date on it?
So there's no food in the fridge.
Okay, good. That's
There's
probably
just drinks.
that's good.
The
drinks don't make poop.
Yeah, so beer, tiny root beer. There's a like those like I think it's 2-gallon bottle of water, like those, you know, those big bottles of water. So there's that there. There's a like a Costco pallet worth of juice boxes. It's like stacked up. Some of them leaked.
Oh,
and
ooh.
Yeah, it's just it's like a wall of sugar. The fridge smells disgustingly sweet, but that's it. And the freezer, by the way, has nothing in it. The whatever ice was in there is melted a long time ago. There's like an ice tray, like an empty ice tray, and that's it.
Okay. She'll look through that and then she'll wander back to where Eddie is which will say fridge is less bad than I expected. Half bathroom, a little worse. Previous owner apparently didn't cook. It's just filled with like juice and beer, stuff like that. No food.
Well, small blessings, I guess.
Mm.
This stuff here, is it pretty much junk? Has he, in this time, discovered anything of interest in any of these boxes?
So we'll rewind again to Eddie in the cupboard before. So D, you come in, you talk to Eddie, and right after that is the picture from Kieran. Just so we know like where we are in time. So Eddie, the boxes that you find, the one marked old VHS has, of course, a lot of old VHS. None of them have labels. They're not like old movies that someone would have like bought at like Blockbuster or whatever,
Sure.
or rented and never brought back. They're just all of them blank. When you look at them, is a quick question: is Eddie old enough to know what a VHS is?
Yes.
Because like I'm assuming that that's the case, but then I realized that when a character is like 20, they probably don't know.
He probably has an idea, but like, yeah.
He would know just because he's worked in a lot of unsavory
Film industry.
places.
Well,
Film
yeah, okay,
industry,
that too.
and so he knows the film industry and film history, but he's done his fair share of wandering through pawn shops and stuff. So
Okay. So then you would know, looking at the tapes, that they've all been recorded on. Or at least, like, how many VHSs you look at, enough to know that, like, they're not blank. They're not brand new. Like, someone has recorded on them. At the bottom of that box is an old VHS player. It even still has the Radio Shack price tag on it of like $79.99.
well, this is a blast from the past. Is there a television around here?
He has one in the living room. Yeah, not a flat
Does it
screen.
Yeah, old school cathode CRT.
Yeah, it's a CRT, so it has the. In fact, his is old enough to still have what was it? Coaxial cable, I think.
Oh god, yeah.
The one that you
geez.
needed to screw.
Yes. Ugh.
Oh god.
He doesn't have a TRS computer, Hawkeye, but like his laptop is one of like first gen IBM laptops. This person didn't keep abreast of technology for the most part. And when we finish with Eddie and you start adding 2 plus 2, his house like has a very eclectic mix of technologies in it. Fridge from the 50s, laptop from the early 90s, TV from the 80s, VHS from the 80s. Like he's been like collecting stuff over time. And even the Tercel was not brand new either. But in the other boxes, the box labeled China is all like dinnerware.
Right. Okay.
Very, very beautiful. Probably hand painted. All of it. And there is a like a birthday card, I guess. Not like a cheap one. Like someone made it. And like a decoupage or whatever. And it reads in it in Mandarin, which I don't know. Eddie doesn't speak Mandarin, so you recognize the language, but you're like I can't get. There is, however, one word that you can read because it's written in Roman alphabet, and that's Killian. Killian. Lian.
Huh.
So the card is addressed to this Killian person. Oh yeah. Since I forgot Finbar is there, Finbar can translate it for you. Basically, it thanks Killian, the person that wrote it, says thank you for everything that you've done for me and my family. Here's a little present for you so you don't have to eat off of paper plates anymore. And it's signed, and I hope I don't butcher it. She? XI?
Okay.
And then the box with the Nat Geo, it's a collection of. There's even more than one. Like once you start moving boxes around, the guy's been collecting National Geographic magazines for a time. When you thumb through them, you realize that some of them have pages missing, ripped out of the magazine. If you cross-reference with the table of content, you realize that they're all about strange places or like mysteries of the world or places with cultural or religious significance. Finbar would also recognize that as more or less the same work he was doing. The person who is collecting these magazines is probably looking for something divine related somewhere in the world, and they've done so over the course of about 22 years.
Okay. Assuming that there's power to the place,
There is.
there is. He's going to hook up the VCR and he's going to check out some of the tapes and see if there's what's it? All the while whispering, "Please don't let there be porn. Please don't let there be porn on this."
It's not porn. By the way, it's about the same time when you plug in the VCR that you get the picture that D comes up behind you, and you start playing the tape. So Kieran, on the second floor, you would hear the TV go off. And the tapes are like you put one at random, right? It's filmed in first-person perspective, so there's someone talking off camera, which is probably the person holding the camera, talking to themselves mostly. And I'll get to that in a moment. They are not in England when this is filmed. It's a foggy day. There's a mountain in the background. You can hear sheep or goats in the distance. There's grassland with a few like smaller trees around, a few bushes. If you had to hazard a guess, you'd say it's maybe like it's somewhere south of the equator. Definitely. Maybe South America. Maybe somewhere near India. And then you hear it. That full. Make sure you get my good angle.
Wait. You chase us, did we?
No, it's coming from the TV.
No. That's what
Okay.
D. That's what D.
Okay.
That's what D's like. Oh.
He's going to fast forward a little bit just to see, get the gist of what's going on.
They walk. They walk on foot for almost the entirety of the tape. Near the end of the tape, as the sun is set, the cameraman set the camera down, and then you can see part of him, a younger man, blondish brown hair, big handlebar mustache, dressed in, like, I'll say, like, backpacker clothes. You know the type. Probably never watched them either. He's got a baseball cap on, and set down his, like, very, very big backpack on the ground, and is lighting a fire. And you can see Telephone, like, bringing, like, little twigs and stuff and just throwing them in the pile for the fire. They do so in silence. And when when someone finally speaks, it's the tail end of the tape, but the voice, a man's voice, young man, says, "Do you think we're the only one left?" Because I can't believe we couldn't find anyone. And I'm really, really hoping that by tomorrow, and the man points to the mountain in the background, by tomorrow we can finally be up there. And maybe just get a straight answer for once. And Telephone replies, "Well, I mean, I can't talk for them, but I can tell you that, like, for my part, I'm not the only one. There's at least more than one of me, and well, you're not truly alone. You have your..." And the tape ends.
Well, this guy was definitely looking for something. Us, maybe. Others like him.
Maybe. Doesn't look like he had very good luck.
Well, no, because he ended up running into, well, that demon dog thing. Is that when he'll get the message from...
Yeah, and then you get the picture from Kieran's phone.
We should definitely take these video cassettes with us, he says as he's checking his phone and then nodding. I'll go upstairs and check out what Kieran has found here. But yeah. Map is pretty interesting. Wonder if those are all the places that he searched or discovered some form of magical or mystical occurrence.
I mean, entirely possible. Doesn't look like he spent very much time here. This looks mostly like a resting point.
Right. Although it's very interesting though, because on the map he said this is where you get food. So that kind of explains why you only saw drinks around here. But why you would separate your food and your drinks doesn't really quite make sense. So that's probably our next destination.
Yeah. All right. Well, it would have been a lot easier if he had labeled these things.
Yeah. Well, come on, let's go check out that.
All right, let's go see.
Upstairs. So upstairs, I'll give Kieran a few minutes, while you were watching the video. Oh no, while you were watching the video, Kieran was looking at the globe. So when you go upstairs, you find Kieran in the bedroom to the right, the guest bedroom. Giant globe is still there. I think. Kieran, like, if you have like a minute or two, is there anything else you would like to do, Kieran, before the rest of the group comes up?
I don't think a minute or two is enough to investigate the other bedroom. Is it?
Well, I mean, you could go into the other bedroom. You
Okay.
could describe what you see, and then
Yeah.
you can call them over or not. So the other bedroom has an interesting bed. It's a queen-sized bed. There's a nice quilt on it. And then there's a mound of moss covering a skeleton. And then, of course, post-its everywhere.
Very in the lead. Huh?
You find a moss-covered skeleton, and then there are, your usual post-its.
Do the post-its look more recent than the skeleton?
It takes a long time for a skeleton to.
Not necessarily.
Can I see anything defining about this skeleton apart from, like, if I don't, I'm not going to touch it. But by not touching it, can I see anything distinctive about this skeleton that will tell me more about it?
The moss. One, the moss shouldn't have grown on it. It's not like fungi. It's not rot from the like rotting of the skeleton itself. It's like moss that you would find in the woods. There's even like little mushrooms. But most of them like button mushrooms. Stuff that you could actually eat. There is like one shit, what's the name? Is it the fly alaric? Yes. One of them is definitely a fly alaric mushroom. Red with the little white dots. Basically the like Mario mushroom, but if you eat it, you hallucinate you're a giant and then you die. Yeah, that's the one. And it's covering, I'd say, maybe 75% of the skeleton. It covers most of the chest. And the chest, the hips, one leg completely, and like part of so let's say it's the left leg that's completely covered. The right leg is covered from the foot to the knee, but not from the knee to the hip. That one's just like a bone. Of course, with like almost completely disintegrated clothes on it. Like it's a pair of jeans. You would know it's a bone because there's like clear. It's well defined inside the clothing. The face, the head of the skeleton resting on the pillows is uncovered completely. And you can see that his hands are placed on his chest. Like, folded on the chest. The moss has covered most of them. At first glance, it seems that this person died peacefully. Or at least if they died violently, they were placed in a peaceful position after the fact. The skull doesn't bear any mark of trauma, aside from a few teeth that are clearly false teeth, like cavities that were repaired over time.
Mm-hmm.
It is the skeleton. How well versed is Kieran in like all things CSI?
Is that a roll?
Basically, it would be science or medicine.
I have nothing and nothing. I've watched CSI and that's about it. Like,
If you've watched CSI, I'll let you do a let's say for the sake of it, let's go with cunning. Cunning and either science or medicine. It doesn't really matter because you don't have a point in either.
yeah.
But, sure. Oh,
Hey.
so you
Hey.
remember an episode of CSI where they identify a skeleton, like if it belonged to a man or a woman, by the shape of the like the pelvic bone. This is a man,
Okay.
or at least I should say it was a male skeleton.
Okay.
But that's it. Oh, and now you would also know, like, by the length of the skeleton. Adult. And rather tall. You know, queen size bed, but his feet reach almost the end of the bed.
Okay. You said that the skull had like false teeth or like fillings or something?
Yeah, fillings. Yeah, that's me, Simon, not having the right words.
No,
yes,
it's
fillings.
So I want to check really like carefully. I don't want to disturb this thing if I can, but I want to check the bone that's not covered with moss to see if there's a pin or something in it. Anything that's not organic bone.
There's none. Like the bone, like the bones of. You mean the skeleton, or you mean like specifically the bones of the teeth?
No. I'm saying because the bones of the teeth have fillings that are not organic bone, I'm checking to see if there's anything that isn't organic bone in the leg that's uncovered, because those are the only two things that are uncovered.
Yeah. No, well, there's part of the hand too that's uncovered, but no, there's nothing special. It's just. I mean, the theory that you could get right now before the rest of the group shows up is either the moss just didn't have time to grow there, or there might have been something when the moss started growing that prevented it. Imagine, if you will, what if there's a bag on the leg and the moss grew on the bag and then someone took it away?
Oh, okay.
You would have like an area where, but that would be like part of his leg, part of his like left arm, and his head. Also, that skeleton smells like roasted hazelnut. And there's the sound of horses and crunching leaves. And then Dee, Eddie, and Finbar and Morning walk up the stairs.
About time you got here.
Did you find anything?
Yeah. I mean, there's a really nice globe in that bedroom and a corpse in this one.
Oh, well, wait. Corpse.
Yeah. Like a full man who's just gone to pot. Covered in mushrooms.
Okay.
Yeah. The man had kept a corpse in his room.
Kept the corpse, or is the corpse?
I don't know.
Okay, let's. Oof. Well. Oh, no kidding. Oh boy. Oh boy.
In this room,
Yeah.
Eddie, the smell of ozone that was oppressing you everywhere else in the house is a little less present here.
Is that due to the hazelnut smell of the corpse? Or
no, you think that whatever source of the smell of ozone is farther away from where this body is. Like maybe like opposite side of the house completely.
Okay. Well, I'm not smelling the ozone here as much as I was in the other side of the house, so maybe this was a last safe spot, or at least a small haven.
The fact that the corpse smells like coffee is a little more distressing than the fact that it doesn't smell like corpse. I mean, there's a dead body in there.
Well, that certainly concludes that at least the corpse is like one of us, right?
I
Okay,
think
so
Corpses
we-
don't normally smell like that.
We found a dead friend. That's good.
that's Scion. Peer, maybe.
So
But
What do
hey,
we-
that's comforting. At least leave a nice smelling corpse.
I mean, it doesn't seem violent. I mean, there aren't like, there's not blood everywhere and those aren't pieces.
Yeah, so there's like no trace of any blood or decomposition around here.
If there had been, the moss ate it.
Okay, so were there any signs that this was moved here?
I mean, we're gonna go into full on CSI, if you don't mind.
Of course.
So everyone puts their put your sunglasses on.
You have to make a bad pun first.
Yeah, you made one earlier with the car.
That was a reference, not a pun.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So that would be okay. Here's how we're gonna do it.
Mhm.
We're gonna base the skill. It's a skill roll. We're gonna base
Okay.
it off of either intellect or cunning, your choice.
Okay.
And whichever skill that you choose, should you succeed, will give you information pertaining to the skill that you've used. So, like, for example, if you want to see signs of struggles, that might be like intellect and close combat. Whereas if you decide to roll intellect and empathy, you would get, you would find something completely different. There's a lot of things to find, so what I'll do is I'll allow like 2 skill rolls per person who's looking. So long as you get 1 success, you're good.
Okay.
So you can confer between yourselves who wants to do what, who wants to look for what. Signs that the body is moved after the fact. Like, that would probably go into subterfuge, because it would be someone masking the death as something else. Which
I rolled
hey,
intellect subterfuge.
yeah.
So.
So, let me just 2 seconds. Everyone make all of your rolls, and then I'll describe everything in one shot.
All right. I am doing medicine, intellect, and I'm going to do occult.
Okay.
All right. All right. It's first the medicine.
Medicine works.
Signs of violence, signs of a
Cunning
struggle.
occult.
That would be close combat or firearms if you think that weapons, range weapons were involved.
You said cunning and
Either cunning or intellect.
okay.
Oh, there we go. Oof, 1.
Okay, so we got occult, we got medicine, we got close combat, we got subterfuge. Eddie, Kieran, do you want to roll 2 more?
I can roll something else.
Occult has been done, Hawkeye, already. So if you have another one, I can check on your sheet actually for Finbar. Finbar is very good at culture.
Culture would be a good
science,
Firearms.
and he's got science too.
Good.
Um,
Science is very good.
So Kieran, Kieran, you did close combat, and which other one?
I want to look for signs on like indents in the bed to see what could have caused the moss to not grow on those certain places.
Okay, that would be oh boy.
Hmm.
We'll go with survival because it goes into like nature
Okay.
and
Oh.
how like moss works and all that. All right,
How
cunning
does moss-
science works, and
How does moss?
Apparently, I don't know.
So occult for Finbar. Somebody else already rolled it. So Finbar in chat, if you have another one that you want to do, I'll let you post it in chat. Otherwise, here's what you all find. So the 5 of you begin to look around. I think even Morning can probably one. Where's Morning in there? She can definitely help with she also has culture. Oh, she has survival. So if Kieran failed, I'm gonna go and try for survival. Try to help you out. Okay. So the 5 of you get to work. And here's what you find out. And we're going to end the game on like that information. Whatever you do with it, we'll see what happens next week. But the body was not moved. So the person died in their bed. However, they did die of poisoning.
Mm.
And that is something that you find, Eddie, because while looking around for signs of foul play, you find a small vial. Even with the label on it. Cyanide. Like someone stole a vial from a lab and drank it. Or was forced to drink it. For medicine, he died poisoned. The moss that grew on him did not grow as a result of regular body decomposition. The moss with occult is supernatural in origin. Is actually, think of it as a like a protection. The moss is covering the remains of this person. And I'll mix it with the survival that Morning has. The moss and the mushrooms that are there are not typically found in this area of the world. They're like fly alaric mushrooms, for example. Grows mostly in well, a little bit everywhere in the world, but I need to find the habitat. Temporal and boreal region. Temperate and boreal. So it's maybe less England and more like Northern Europe. Or, you know, looking at the other mushrooms as well. North of France, where the Gaul civilization used to be. with firearms. So no signs of like death by bullets or arrows or what have you. But the skeleton, if you for what you can see, does have like small fractures on their bone. Meaning that the person, especially someone like Eddie, who's been a stunt man for a long time, those happen because of like fights, accidents. The person probably got shot at in their life. They lived a tumultuous life. With science and survival, the moss that didn't grow on the leg, it's not supernatural. It's purely like a random happenstance. The way the moss is spread out on the body, it covered one leg first, and because of how the feet were placed, sort of moved, like bridged onto the other foot, and is making its way up as it's making its way down. Probably if you were to wait however long it took for the moss to grow, wait a bit more, like let's say a month or so, like it would cover the rest of the body. So this person, with, you know, all of your checks, died years ago. Body was kept in the state, or even decomposition was slowed down due to this like blanket of moss and mushroom, which normally would have the adverse effect, like it would eat through the skin and every dead tissue very quickly. It doesn't smell. Like, aside from like the divine smells that you had earlier, like physically, it doesn't smell of like dead or rot or anything. Which is contrasts a bit with the rest of the house.
Hmm.
And then as you search around and look into the rest of the room, you notice that there is a small notepad that was dropped, fell like behind the nightstand, and it's just page upon page of these 7 concentric circles. And the last page says, "He gave me the evil eye. I have the evil eye." And it just repeats that like a couple pages. Written more and more frantic. The handwriting, which at first was like beautiful. The person, again, you know, calligraphy enthusiast. But in the end, it's just like chicken scratch paper. And that's where we're gonna end. For today, anyway.
Cool.
Well, that evil eye sucks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Everyone all right?
Yeah.
That was admittingly the grossest place I've ever visited in a Wandering DM game so far.
Oh,
Oh boy. Let me rectify that.
I'm trying to think if there was anything worse.
We haven't played like any horror games together, I think.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I will stand by that. That's probably the.
Well, I mean, there are some places in Cyberpunk, but like I tended to gloss over, because when the world is hyper violent, you don't really pay attention to signs of violence, because it's everywhere. In this case, it's a bit different. But yeah, no, I don't think. Not yet, anyway. We'll see. Well, maybe not in Scion, but like I can probably up the ante at some point. That said, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, players, for indulging my strange dig gnome and spending way too long in a place where essentially it was just like the guardian of the key. He's like the Sphinx, but shittier.
Honestly, we probably should have just beaten him up and get on with our lives. But,
You could have.
yeah, I know. That's what I was gonna do. I'm like, why are we getting pushed around by this little thing?
Because he's mystical, and that means you don't know what he's able to do, what he's capable of doing.
Still don't. You still don't know.
We're mystical too.
Yeah, I know.
you can grow a giant magic tree.
Which, by the now that you might come back to him later on, maybe, but I can at least give you this much. He's a like 2-dot bird, right? So like he's technically on par with a competent human. Like in terms of like power level. Like him and James Bacon are on the same level. And then there's you. But he seems weird, and that was the whole point.
Of course he's weird. When he's camouflaging himself, he looks like a penis. What?
And that's the whole point. That said, well, let's go around the table. If you have anywhere that you're going to be in the coming week, please shout yourself out and let everyone know where you're going to be. I have a few things to go into, like boring stuff at the end of the stream, so I'll do that then. But let's do same order as we did the intros. We'll begin with E.
Hey, now you know. Now everyone knows what Dee's life of like dealing with spirits is like. They're not powerful, but they make demands on you, and sometimes they're useful, sometimes they're not. They can make your life really annoying. But yeah, I'm Lynn, Flying Cirrus, everywhere, Twitter, Twitch, where you can see my art and schedule for my games. And next time you'll see me is for Twitch.tv, the other doc for our Urban Shadows campaign, where we are getting ready toward the end of it. And every supernatural group in Rome is in one room. Certainly nothing's going to go bad. It's a party, and you know how those things go.
Wonderfully.
It's always dramatic and terrible.
Next, Anino, where can we find you?
Well, let's see. I'll be on the Other Dog channel tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time for another episode of Edge of Paradox, where our group of brunch enthusiasts are dealing with mind-controlling centipedes. And a lot of angry villagers who are very scared at the whole concept of brunch.
And do you think the little dig gnome was strange?
Well, yes, I did. But, the village is, we're giving the village a pass. They're just a bunch of simple folk. Don't even really like magic all that much.
And they're confused by the concept of brunch.
Yes, it goes against their whole ingrained idealization of 3 square meals.
Crap. Yeah, no, that burn their village to the ground. Teach them that you should have breakfast every moment of the day. That said, Kieran, where can we find you?
Hey, I am Hannah. You can find me at Hanimation Art on Twitter or Hanimation Studios on Instagram and Facebook. And you can find me back here on Wandering DM's channel Thursday, 8:30 p.m. along with Anino to play some Sentinels of the Multiverse. And then again here on Saturday, 1 p.m. EST to play some Scion. Thank you so much for having me here, Simon. I appreciate it very much.
You're very welcome. As for me, I'm Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming today. So the boring stuff is I need to get my calendar out. All right. So next week we'll be back for Scion on the 4th of September. However, we will be off the 11th and 18th for I shall be away, and we'll probably not have stream-worthy equipment with me. So we're going to have to pass on those 2 weeks. But when we come back on the 25th of September, unless I am mistaken, it's either the 25th or the 2nd of October, we're going to have a guest come in for a couple of sessions. And they're bringing something very interesting to the game that I can't wait for all of you to discover. But we'll see that when we get there. As far as Sentinels is concerned, we'll be back on this week. Again, the 9th and the 16th, we'll be away. I'll be away. But if everything works out, we should have a few, maybe all, of the Session 0, the issue number 0, for each of our heroes. So I'll be able to upload them during that time so you can still have your fair share of superhero action and drama while we are away. Otherwise, you can find me tomorrow on Prexagora Thesmophoria for Romance of the Blue Rose. Same thing, I'll be there and then I'll be gone for 2 weeks. And then Witcher, we are not streaming Witcher this Wednesday because in solidarity with everything that's been going on with marginalized streamers, we are not streaming on the 1st of September. And then I'll be there on the 8th. I'll be gone after for 2 weeks. Anyway, con season. If you're going to Gen Con, I will be there. I'll be working with my friends at the Art Talsorian booth and GMing a Witcher game during the con. So if you come by, wave, say hi. Don't touch me because disease and COVID. But yeah, so thank you everyone for coming, and we will see you next week for the thrilling conclusion, maybe, of what the hell happened in this house. And who was Killian? And what's going on with the dogs? Thanks for coming, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Did you say dogs plural?
What?